Alice Rain's weather and Rob Fukuzaki sports. As Eyewitness News at 5 in high definition continues.
He saw the problems firsthand in court. A former judge speaks out on the need for immigration reform, saying the system is helping criminals and hurting those who really need help. Welcome back. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Ellen Leyva. A new voice has joined the immigration debate. A federal judge who heard cases here in L.A., the busiest docket in the nation. As Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez tells us, he's calling on officials to fix a broken system, even as Congress debates the fate of millions of undocumented people.
In front of the U.S. Immigration Court in Los Angeles, a family prays.
We here to, try to do it right, work hard, pay our taxes.
Julio Osorio arrives with notification that today is to be his final hearing on deportation. He arrived from El Salvador 10 years ago, has a work permit, owns a home, and is a key employee for a construction company. His fate will be dictated by laws he does not understand and a system one insider describes as broken.
I really don't think that a lot of people on Capitol Hill understand what's going on in the field.
Meet Bruce Einhorn, newly retired immigration judge who has heard cases in Los Angeles for 17 years. He couldn't give interviews while he was on the bench. Now he seeks to expose a system in which the odds, he says, are stacked against justice.
What is toxic to that work are the arbitrary deadlines for finishing cases imposed on good judges and those in their care by political bureaucrats and appointees in Washington.
According to legal experts, immigration law is second only in complexity to the tax code. Congress keeps changing it, yet Einhorn could face as many as 100 cases a week.
I think the Office of the Attorney General wanted to be able to show the Congress and show the administration that it was cracking the whip and the judges were being made to act more efficiently. But to judges, it wasn't about bean counting. It was about trying to fairly and fully hear cases.
Complicating matters, thousands of immigrants are exploited by what are called notarios, a type of paralegal who is legitimate in Latin America but not in the U.S. Einhorn says they mess up paperwork. They make wild promises.
The consultants, the notaries, will make sure that the individuals will receive a work permit or even permanent residence.
It will either take extensive time for a judge to sort it out, or the immigrant's case could fail. Einhorn says low-income, law-abiding applicants are more likely deported. Criminal aliens often get to stay.
These people know how to work the system, and very likely will be able to stay. If they've made bond, they'll be able to stay in the United States for years after a judge has ordered them to leave because of the appellate process.
Einhorn argues that and more lead to rampant disregard for the law, deportation orders widely ignored.
You have a strong feeling they're going to stay anyway?
Oh, yes. And an equally strong feeling that the Department of Homeland Security may never get around to picking them up.
Einhorn says judges need to be heard before Congress acts again.
I support immigration reform. I think that the people who do the job, who put themselves on the line, whose boots are on the ground, ought to be consulted more about what needs to be done and what needs to be reformed.
Can you imagine any scenario where undocumented workers are actually going to pick up and leave and go back to where they came from?
Some, yes. Most, in my opinion, no.
Soon, Julio Osorio may have to make that decision himself. Today, though, a break, a scheduling mistake. His case is continued for 5 more months. To the relief of his legalized family members, he will be able to renew his work permit for 1 more year. His status saved not by a ruling, but by a fluke. Miriam Hernandez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa is pushing a new plan to get more police officers patrolling LA streets, and today he announced major new recruiting goals. Eyewitness News reporter John North is here with the story. John?
David, LA's mayor has been in Sacramento this afternoon at a gang summit talking about ways to address the city's worst source of violent crime. A few hours earlier, he was in Westchester promoting a plan to add an unprecedented number of new police officers in the coming year. LAPD recruits filed out of the recruit training center to serve as a backdrop with the announcement that the city is ahead of schedule to add 1,000 new officers over 5 years.
We projected last year that the city would hire 650 new officers. Today we can estimate that we will hire 730 new officers by July.
The mayor says they'll find the money to hire a total of 780 new officers in the coming year. The net gain is a little different because of an unprecedented number of retirements this year and the need to beef up the training academy staff to handle the new hires. But the crime statistics in Los Angeles are good unless you're in a gang-infested area. Overall, violent crime is down 5 years in a row. Gang violence is up. However, if the hiring trends continue, the LAPD will reach its highest manpower level of more than 10,000 officers in about 2.5 years. The mayor is going to ask the city council to approve hiring bonuses of $5,000 to $10,000 for new recruits and police officers returning to the LAPD.
You put the cops on the dots and crime goes down. That's how it works. And hopefully at some point in time we'll have enough cops to cover the dots all over the city and then watch that crime number start falling.
The mayor and chief left to fly to Sacramento to meet with other mayors and the governor at a continuing series of summits on how to deal with gangs.
We all know that we have to have a combination of suppression, intervention, and prevention. But there's other things that we have talked about. We have to get a better job on getting rid of the guns that are out there in the streets and that are readily available.
Schwarzenegger promised the mayors and police chiefs they can count on him and the state for help. The mayor and chief just got back from Washington, D.C., where they were lobbying for more federal money. The mayor says it has to be a coordinated local, state, and federal effort against gangs. Ellen?
John, thank you. The Glendale Fire Department will soon have 2 new high-tech firefighting tools they say will allow them to save more lives. Thanks to this $22,000 grant check by Arthur J. Gallagher and Company and the Fireman's Fund Insurance, the department will be able to buy 2 new thermal imaging cameras. They'll allow firefighters to see through smoke and darkness to locate victims trapped in a building. Firefighters can also locate hot spots inside walls and extinguish them before they